Hello, guys. Welcome back to TFD. What's going on, everybody? We're back again with another breakdown, and it looks like day 2 of Team USA women's basketball is officially underway. Caitlin Clark remains right in the center of the conversation, and for better or worse, women's basketball is back in the spotlight. For this update, all eyes are in Durham, North Carolina, where Team USA has kicked off its latest training camp. Let's get into it. The moment many fans have been waiting for is finally here. Now, if we're being completely honest, the reaction from day 1 was solid, but not spectacular. The overall results were decent, but I personally expected more buzz, more energy, and more engagement across social media and the broader WNBA ecosystem. When Team USA officially announced this camp and released initial content, the numbers were surprisingly low. Views, likes, comments, across the board, they didn't match what we saw earlier this year. Because of that, I'm going to be closely monitoring the situation throughout the entire offseason. There's a real sense that excitement around women's basketball may be cooling off, at least compared to where it was during the peak of the Caitlin Clark hype. Now, Caitlin Clark is back on the court, and this gives us a useful measuring stick. We're starting to see just how many people are still invested in women's basketball overall, and how many are specifically tuning in because of Caitlin Clark. I've been here since the very beginning of this wave. I remember when the hype was sky high, when every clip went viral, and when engagement felt effortless. Now, that same hype feels noticeably lower. That shift raises some serious questions as we look ahead to the 2026 season. One major question is simple but important. Will there even be a 2026 season? The ongoing CBA negotiations are still unresolved, and that uncertainty alone could be impacting fan interest and engagement. If fans don't know what the future looks like, it's harder to stay fully invested. As for the present, Team USA officially opened training camp yesterday in Durham, and Caitlin Clark made her first public appearance since stepping away earlier this year. She spoke with the media and made it very clear that she's feeling healthy, confident, and ready to go. That alone was encouraging to see. A decent number of fans tuned in just to check on her return and see how she looked back in action. Now here on day 2, Team USA released additional footage featuring Caitlin Clark alongside the rest of the roster. That's what everyone is reacting to right now. The clips show her talking about what it means to represent USA basketball and how proud she is to be part of the program. It's a strong reminder of just how much this opportunity matters to her. There was also an interesting observation floating around online from one of the more respected basketball follows on social media. People have noticed that Caitlin Clark's physique looks a bit different compared to last season. Naturally, that sparks some speculation. Did she change her training approach this offseason? Did she scale back on certain weightlifting routines to prioritize flexibility, shooting rhythm, or endurance? That discussion reminded me of an old story Steph Curry once shared about legendary NBA coach Don Nelson. Nelson famously discouraged Curry from heavy weightlifting early in his career, believing it could negatively impact his shooting mechanics. Similar ideas exist in baseball, especially with pitchers, where some coaches worry that lifting too much can alter throwing motion. Whether or not that applies here, it's an interesting parallel, and something worth keeping an eye on as Caitlin Clark continues her Team USA journey. So let's go with Caitlin Clark making these comments about joining USA basketball.
When you're at the U16 team, I remember they always talk about the senior national team, and obviously that's every young girl's dream when you're on those teams. And they talk a lot about that team, and only like 1 or 2 of us was ever probably going to be able to get a call up to be on the team, or let alone be able to get a call up to come and be a part of the camp and be around the tremendous players that they have had on their teams over the course of the many years and the many gold medals that they've won. And so I think for myself, like, that's kind of what you start thinking about, is like how long I've kind of been involved in USA basketball and the journey that it's been. I've been on teams, and then I've had moments where I've been cut and I haven't been on teams, so you experience all of it. And I think that also speaks to how great USA basketball is and how dominant they are. Like, there's so many amazing players that have been a part of it and have worn the 3 letters across their chest. And for me, you never take that for granted. So I'm super excited to be back here. And kind of kick off this next cycle.
She also opened up about the fact that she's been cut from this group before while trying to make Team USA in the past, and that history matters. We've already documented how much of a miss it was leaving her off the Olympic roster and how that hurt the growth of women's basketball overall. So let's start here. It looks like Caitlin Clark essentially told her training staff, no thank you, and decided to return to what worked during her rookie season, when she was a top 3 rookie, played every game, and stayed durable. Visually, her legs still look strong, but her upper body appears noticeably leaner. Some say she's just not flexing, but I don't buy that. The change looks intentional, and honestly, it makes sense. From the small clips that have been released so far, I've got to be honest, Paige Bueckers looks really good. There's no way around it. She looks sharp, confident, and completely in her element. The first thing that jumps out is her mid-range game. That shot is smooth, controlled, and honestly deadly. She's getting to her spots with ease and knocking them down like it's second nature. Watching her out there, you can't help but see flashes of a young Diana Taurasi in the way she carries herself and scores from all 3 levels. And I'll say this clearly, I'm never going to hate on Paige. A lot of people love trying to pit her against Caitlin Clark, turning everything into a rivalry, but that's unnecessary. Great players can coexist, and Paige showed exactly why she's still elite. She simply looks locked in. On top of that, Aaliyah Boston also stood out. She looked strong, composed, and impactful in the clips, bringing that steady presence you expect every time she steps on the floor.
Talk about the class of 2020 representation at this camp.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know about the nickname we coined ourselves, Young and Turn Class, but really we play with a chip on our shoulder. I feel like we have that edge to us. We're really competitive, highly competitive, and we all just want to win and represent ourselves, our teams, our communities the right way, our country the right way. So whatever that looks like, I think the class of 2020, in my opinion, I'm biased, but it's one of the best classes. So I think we all respect each other, we all want each other to do well, and we all kind of thrive in this environment.
Okay, guys, let's move here. All right, let me reset this and walk everybody through it clearly. We're looking at a 17-player pool, and the reality is simple. Not everyone should make the final Team USA roster. Some players need to stay in college, some need more development, and some, respectfully, have already had their run. This is about building the best possible team right now, while also pushing the next generation forward. First things first, let's get the obvious out of the way. Caitlin Clark is the starting point guard, period. This should not even be a discussion. She is the engine, the shot maker, the playmaker, the attention drawer. She is the GOAT-level talent at the position, and Team USA is at its best when the offense runs through her. No hesitation there. At shooting guard, I'm going with Jackie Young. That backcourt pairing is elite on both ends. Jackie brings defense, championship experience, and scoring without needing the ball all the time. Caitlin Clark and Jackie Young together is a nightmare for opposing teams. On the wing, I've got Kalia Copper starting at the 3. She brings physicality, downhill pressure, defense, and Olympic experience. At the 4, this may surprise people, but I'm starting Derica Hamby. She gives you versatility, rebounding, defense, and the ability to score in multiple ways. She fits perfectly next to Caitlin Clark. At center, I'm locking in Aaliyah Boston. That chemistry with Caitlin Clark already exists, and it matters. Elite defender, efficient scorer, anchor in the paint. That's your starting 5. Caitlin Clark, Jackie Young, Kalia Copper, Derica Hamby, and Aaliyah Boston. Now let's talk bench. Paige Bueckers absolutely makes this team. She's a weapon off the bench or alongside Caitlin. Kelsey Plum absolutely makes the roster without question. That gives you 4 elite guards total. Clark, Young, Bueckers, and Plum. That is more than enough guard depth. You don't need to overload this roster with guards. On the wing and front court depth, I'm bringing Sonia Citron for versatility and defense. Cameron Brink is on my team as a bench big, rim protection, athleticism, and upside. Rickea Jackson gives you scoring punch on the wing. Kiki Iriafen earns a spot as another strong, physical big who can rebound and defend. That leaves one final spot, and this is where the debate really starts. Between Angel Reese, Chelsea Gray, Brittany Griner, and Veronica Burton, I'm taking Angel Reese, not as a star, not as a focal point, as a role player. Rebound, defend, bring energy. That's it. That's her role, and if she accepts that, she's valuable. So who didn't make it? Chelsea Gray did not make my team. No disrespect, she's had an incredible career, but this roster does not need her. The guard spot is already elite. Same goes for Brittany Griner. I considered her size, but I'm committing fully to the youth movement. And Veronica Burton simply gets squeezed out by depth at guard. So here's my final 12. Caitlin Clark, Jackie Young, Kalia Copper, Derica Hamby, Aaliyah Boston, Paige Beckers, Kelsey Plum, Sonia Citron, Cameron Brink, Rickea Jackson, and Kiki Iriafen. That's my Team USA roster. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who are you cutting? Who are you adding? Let's talk about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and share.